I believe people don't spend time on their worlds, and so I'm spending an entire year on Terraria's new 1.45 update to really take my time with all the new changes and see what we can really do with them. So for this month, I'm only allowed to defeat Queen Slime and one mechanical boss, a phase of progression that is often ignored and one that I have never really played around with. So what are we going to discover? Let's find out.
Today, we are going to be allowed, or I guess this month, we are going to be allowed to fight the mechs, and, well, not the mechs, one mech and Queen Slime. And that's it. We can only fight one mech. I'm planning on fighting the twins, and the reason for that is that I think there's kind of an interesting phase of progression after defeating only one of the mechanical bosses that is most often ignored because, I mean, you don't usually need to kill one mech to get something so you can fight the other mechs. They're all like the same level of difficulty, so it's kind of a pointless phase of progression in a number of ways. So I want to see if by slowing down and really seeing what there is in it, we can maybe find some uses for things that most people just go past by default.
Before we can play with any of the post-1 mech toys, we need to first slay a few Ichor stickers to make the golden shower. I am very curious to dive deep into this often ignored phase of progression and see what we can do with it. But what is there in this phase? What I know for sure is that we will get second tier Old One's army and the Steampunker. And this week in particular, I want to dive deep into Old One's army and see what I can figure out. First off, I'm not sure how I can beat the thing after defeating only one mech. I feel like I won't be able to get enough power to handle them unless I build out Summoner a bit more. Secondly, I want to try out the Ogre weapons because most of them never get used, and I want to see if we've been missing some of their potential. But first, we need to defeat the bosses of the month.
So we have an insane, and I mean insane, amount of debuff power.
Or at least I was going to until I realized I was missing something kind of important.
You know, I really don't have a good arena for hard mode bosses, do I? Probably work on that, shouldn't I?
Guess we're going to need to finish this arena. I started way back in January, I think it was. And do you have any idea just how much iron I had to burn in order to place lamps along this entire thing? I think I could get lead poisoning from how many there are. For the battle against Queen Slime, I have a weird combination of damage and survivability accessories. I'm not breaking demon altars, so mechs won't spawn naturally, so I'm left with meteor armor for the battle, and so I'm leaning much more heavily on accessories to keep me safe.
I feel like we're already doing some pretty good damage. Just use a Bloodthorn action. Nobody uses the Bloodthorn because it sucks. But I just used the Bloodthorn and proved that yes, it is in fact not very good. It's actually not doing that bad damage, really. Okay, almost at the arena, and she's already almost flying. We'll heal now. Hiya. Oh no. Wait, don't tell me it's just too high. Oh. Oh, that's not good. I can't actually. Okay. That's really not great. Now let's hope this goes all right. Let's try to stay up in the higher levels. Bloodthorn it. Bloodthorn it. Ooh, didn't see that coming. Bloodthorn, heck yeah. You know what? I think we might actually casually beat this thing. Granted, I have a stupid amount of potions active here, so I mean, I should do really well against it, but I feel like that was easier than it normally would be.
Potions really feel underrated sometimes. My build isn't exactly crazy, especially with meteor armor, and I was able to take down the boss pretty easily. But I guess I've farmed quite a lot and have some optimal weaponry and such. At the same time, I fought and beat Queen Slime 3 times, taking advantage of my potions while they were still active, and the third battle, even after losing some of the potions because, you know, of their shorter duration, I was still fine. The main thing I wanted from her, though, was the Hook of Dissonance.
Because I want to experiment with that in the future.
I didn't realize it until the end of the week, but I didn't even get the blade staff.
Ooh, hey, Crystal Assassin armor. What do we use Crystal Assassin armor to fight the twins, huh? Let's see, we had 63 defense, so wow, it's 20 more defense.
Meteorite armor does give a 27% damage bonus to mage, while the Crystal Assassin armor only gives a 10% bonus, but compensates a bit with a 10% bonus to critical strike, while those bonuses also help the non-mage weapons as well, like the summon ones that I'm using. It's a really interesting armor set with how it builds on every single class except for Summoner, kind of funnily, if you ask me. And with its set bonus giving me a dash, well, that could free up accessory slots. Now, before we can get to the new stuff, we need to take down the twins, and my plan is to use the lava shark, but not by making a long horizontal water pool like a lot of people would do when using the lava shark, because that takes a lot of space and time. Instead, I want to use the lava shark core that I figured out last month. The issue right now is that the ocean has an arena whose platforms will slow my falling mobility, leaving only the Arctic Ocean, which has all kinds of custom icebergs in the way.
This could go really poorly. I'm just going to say that. This could go really poorly very easily, but I really want to try it. All right.
As I discovered last month, by drinking a Featherfall potion while riding the lava shark, you massively increase how high it can jump, and I think it's possible this could work well against the twins.
Yeehaw! Go, my sharky friend. It's going to be quite difficult to target one or the other. Whee! It's actually working! Lava shark for the win, baby! Oh, ow, wyvern. That's not good. Second phase spaz. Just mildly afraid. And by that I mean very afraid. And we're totally going to get both of them to second phase in a very inopportune time. This is, kind of working. Go, 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 go. Run! Teleport out. Go, go, go. No, 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 no. Go, 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 go. In the water. Ah! Oh, they're both in second phase. Go, 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 go. And teleport out. Go, 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 go. No. No. We're alive. We're alive. Lava shark core for the win. Come on, finish it, finish it, finish it, finish it. It's not going to finish it. Ah. Ah. Yes, we got him. Okay. Ah. Okay. No!
Let's be honest here. If you're unwilling to dismount or just don't want to, then the moment second phase spaz starts, there isn't a way to effectively dodge the fire breath without using the Rod of Discord. Maybe adding some water bubble blocks in space to bounce off of could make it more possible, but this is far from a practical strategy. Something I only just realized too during the battle is that the blocks stop Rhett's lasers. It's obvious and I've seen it before, but I never really thought about it.
Wait a minute, hold on. If you keep him in the blocks... Well, he died. Darn it. Okay, hold on. I'll need to experiment with that a little bit.
I have a couple of ideas for ways to very easily kill the twins, but it'll depend a bit on how their AI works. So I'm gonna have to learn how to manipulate it, or if it's even possible. As for the drops, I'm currently considering withholding from farming the twins. Part of the reason that the one mech phase of the game is so awkward is that mechs drop souls for good weapons, and you can pretty quickly make armor. That can make second tier Old One's army armor seem a lot less helpful. So maybe I'll avoid farming for extra hollowed bars, just so I can, spend more time on the Old One's army stuff. So with the ones I do have, I'm finally going to make Chippy's wings.
I don't know. I don't know if I like the wings and how they look. It looks too bat-like to me. It doesn't look enough like a cloak, like a flying cloak. I think like when you're actually flying, it looks a little bit more like one, and when it's like held out. But on the individual flaps, I'm not, or when you're just kind of free falling, I'm not sure I really like how that looks.
We got to get to farming the Old One's army though, so I'm reforging the magical harp, which will be probably my main weapon, and I don't know how many of you already know this, but apparently the different accessories Old One's army drops are literally the same thing, and by that I mean they don't just grant the same buffs, but that they don't stack on top of each other. It makes some sense that they don't, because you could make an insane damage build if you could, but why on earth are there like, what, some 4 of these accessories that the game's logic counts them as the same thing and they don't stack? Just make all but one of them a vanity item if you care so much about the vanity for some reason. This is super confusing, being able to equip multiple of this accessory and get no benefit. I guess I didn't double check if the damage increased, but I definitely don't get 2 bonus sentries when I have both equipped.
I feel quite betrayed by Terraria and Relogic right now. That is not fair. If you're going to make 2 accessories, then make 2 accessories. Don't make 2 accessories that count as the same thing? Does the buckle count as the same accessory too? Is it that nonsensical?
As I would later learn, it does in fact also count as the same thing. I let that first army destroy the crystal because I forgot to replace the lava in the bubbles with water so the Ethereal mana won't burn. The amazing thing about Mage with a apprentice scarf or any of its variants apparently is that I can leave all of this to handle one side of the army while I focus on the other side, including placing all the old one's army sentries on that side as well. The thing is, I was still expecting this to be a challenge, and despite using amounts, I wasn't able to find too many accessories to boost my damage further. Even so,
the Lava Shark has one really big advantage over other mounts, and that is that usually with other mounts, there is still some sort of jumping accessory you want in order to really get the most bang out of your buck. But with the Lava Shark, you don't have that, so you get a whole extra accessory while also having insane horizontal speed. I also am not even using one of those accessories. Let's put that on, and then we have a really strange build of just damage, even a little survivability. Okay, they're starting to break out of that. Like, this is going really well. Wow, we've gone to wave 7 of second tier Old One's army straight out of the gate. Don't even have any hard mode ores. We're doing good. We're doing fine. We're clearing this thing no problem.
it would seem that I greatly overestimated how difficult the second tier Old One's army is. Either that or I've just built a really good setup for handling it. Too bad the Lava Shark won't be particularly effective against Betsy though. One of the first weapons Ogres drops is one of the two that I'm most curious about.
What is the reason for this weapon to exist? What is it good for? Has anyone found a use for this? It is a very close range, true melee weapon that I guess has knockback?
I'll try it in a moment, but I was just taught that the magical harp's projectiles vary in speed depending on where you hold the mouse, and somehow I never knew this.
I didn't know you could slow down the magical harp. Oh, is that new or has that always been a thing? That changes things.
And before trying out the Octopod, I used the Bloodthorn and found it was actually surprisingly effective, possibly because the low-hanging platform just above the ground might actually make it a more useful weapon. I'm not sure, but it's surprising me. But now let's try the Sleepy Octopod.
Wow, you have to be like kissing them to hit him with this thing. And it doesn't have crazy knockback. At least not against these guys. I need to figure out what we can do with the Octopod. I am now set on figuring out a way to make it a useful weapon.
From this army, I got the brand of the Inferno, the weapon that I really wanted to test because it is one of the 2 weapons that has a parry, which is a right-click ability that, when used with proper timing, gives a short duration of invincibility frames that can be increased with the cross necklace. On top of that, with a successful parry, my next melee attack will have its damage multiplied by 5 times, and I have 5 seconds to use that buffed strike, which may just leave the door open for some devastating possibilities in the future.
Does it work against daytime Empress? That is an open question. I don't know.
It has me seriously considering how it could be abused to not only make an even stronger tank build for melee, but also how to unleash raw power unlike anything we've seen from melee before. But I'll need to test the possibilities later as I work on collecting more weapons such as the Ghastly Glaive, which I think has more obvious potential, but I think its low base damage prevents it from being a strong weapon past the mechs and keeps it as a more utility weapon.
But I guess like the main thing with this is that it will attack stuff from basically anywhere.
So that's how those two are useful. What about the Octopod?
It's half decent at crowd control to be a melee weapon that you're not going to get hit a lot while swinging. I am not getting hit here while playing incredibly aggressively. It's got hit once. So, I don't know, maybe it's just like, it's not a boss weapon by any means. It's not even really an Old One's army weapon. But also, there aren't really a lot of events for you to fight with this thing where this would be useful. What is it, like a Blood Moon farming weapon to kind of keep you safe during that?
I even decided to check out the wiki to see if there was something I was missing about this thing and what it can do.
They had to really stretch to think of a use for that.
The only thing that I learned is that it can attack through walls when it smashes, which I guess gives it some kind of use. I think I can say with a high level of confidence that the Sleepy Octopod is one of the worst and most useless weapons in Terraria. I would be very happy to hear how I might be wrong, but I just don't see it. No wonder this is the forgotten phase of progression.
So you need to farm enemies that can't go through walls. I guess it's fine. You know, it's not like we already have many other options for that. I guess melee doesn't. Why does this exist and why is it so bad? If you tripled, and I mean tripled, this thing's damage to 210 melee damage, I might use it. Maybe.
Now there is one weapon I almost forgot about, and it's part of the reason I'm making part of the jungle into a glowing mushroom. Once a mech is down, you can purchase the mushroom spear from the truffle, and you know, I think it isn't half bad, and could make sense as a purchase for a melee player after defeating one mech. I wanted to make a simple but slightly better build for the truffle while I was at it, and well, let's just say, it didn't turn out great.
Oh yeah, this is definitely it. Yep, yes sir. Yep, that's how we like it. This is pro building. Oh, yep, that's it. You know, it's actually not that bad.
And I guess this is melee week because I still need the tripler crippler. And yeah, I did get the Phantom Phoenix and Tome of Infinite Wisdom, but I think those weapons are generally accepted to be pretty good. It's just that there are so many just as good options, there isn't a reason to go out of your way for them most of the time.
Okay, magic harp against blood eels. What? Oh, it's there, it's in the darkness. Finally, give me the drop. Darn you. We got the tripler crippler. Yes! Go scarabs, as Wasepi says. And that's the only thing I can call them now.
At this point, I've just collected a bag full of weapons to test against the Destroyer. We're going to have some fun next month seeing what shreds him best. But that's next month. So right now, we'll focus on the Blood Moon, which I wanted for one other reason. And it's to purchase purple solution from the steampunk so I can shimmer it into red solution to make a much larger underground crimson. Little did I know, you can only shimmer the solution post Moonlord. So I guess streams of spreading the crimson easily have been crushed. All I could think to do was throw blood water around, which really doesn't have a large splash radius, but I guess we can purify the existing corruption, allowing the crimson to spread on those blocks. I also purified the corruption right next to spawn because it's been a thorn in my side for a lot of this run. And with the corrupt platform I made for my Eater of Worlds experiment, I turned it into crimson with blood water and farmed everything I needed for the Brain of Confusion, which I plan to use to make a face tank build that I think will stack with the Brand of Inferno's parry and become absolutely insanely broken. And so we wrap up the week wishing for a change to be made to Chippy's cloak.
If I could have Chippy's cloak but not as wings, I might like it more. Maybe if I shimmer it and get the cloak back, I might actually wear that instead of the hunter cloak. Hold on. Okay, if we... Oh, really? Oh, come on. Okay, come on. Real logic. Make it so Chippy's cloak can be worn as just a vanity. And it's just the cloak. That would be so cool. I don't want the wing effect, but I want the cloak effect.
Before we continue, this video is sponsored by Highstar, who is creating these amazing Terraria mats. They sent me a few that I can showcase for you. They all look absolutely astonishing. The one that I use all the time for my setup is this really cool one with a wyvern. Is my favorite one. I would highly recommend it, but these other ones are also fantastic. It's just my desk is a little cluttered, so I don't swap them out. But if you would like one of these awesome, high-quality desk mats for yourself, use my link in the description below. It really helps out the channel a lot, and thanks Highstar for sponsoring this video.
I have a very, just one question, really. I need to answer it as soon as I can. We're gonna grab a tripler crippler in our Brand of Inferno. So the thing with the Brand of Inferno is that you right click to guard. Now, when you guard, you get this really cool buff. Let's see if I can do it right. There we go. Called Striking Moment, 400% increased damage for next melee strike. So, the question is, how does that work with other melee weapons? Primarily what I'm wondering is for like the tripler crippler. Like, if I just hold it out, is this a melee strike and I'll be able to quadruple its damage doing this.
I thought it might have some big brain way of exploiting the parry buff, and although you do gain that buff, it only takes effect for the next melee hit. What is a melee hit? You may think it's obvious, but apparently not.
Apparently, that strike attack only works with items that do a melee hit. And now melee hit apparently is only these weapons. I don't know why it's only these weapons. It excludes all flails and includes a lot of the Stardust and like hard mode hammers. So I guess it looks like it includes like all tools. It's also very disorganized. A lot of them are pre-hard mode or just weapons that you generally wouldn't use. Maybe with the influx waiver, it could do something kind of special. I don't know. I just find it weird that a melee hit, according to the code, apparently only refers to these.
As unfortunate as that is, I had another idea of using the Tripler Crippler and Dao Pow. The idea was to use it and the Tripler Crippler at the same time, just like you can do with the Sun Fury and Blue Moon. But apparently, you can only use those two flails at the same time, and the effect doesn't work with any other flails.
Oh man, that's so rude. I was so excited to actually use these things. Real logic. I will never forgive you for this. It does make sense. I'd be kind of busted if you could do it, but I'm still not happy about it.
Phase Blades were listed as one of the weapons benefiting from the extra damage buff, and I was curious if throwing the Phase Blade on the ground could exploit its ability, but nope. The developers did a really good job at balancing this incredibly niche ability. I'm still going to use it because the added invincibility frames can surely be used to great effect, but the bonus damage is barely going to be a factor. At best, it'll make up for the damage lost while parrying. With that tested, it's time to do some world maintenance, which will start with mining out the second level of the trophy room. It's not exactly separated by hard mode and pre-hard mode bosses, and I'm not 100% certain it'll actually be large enough for every boss that drops a relic. I did a rough count and think it'll be enough, but I'm not entirely certain. The hard mode event boss relics can end up taking a lot of space.
Where's my Terraria Smash Bros collab? I'm gonna choose Donkey Kong. Wait, where's my gorilla transformation? Real logic, you like memes? What? Why don't you silverback gorilla transformation? Come on.
So we've wrapped up work on the lower trophy room. It'll be filled as we progress. We also have a strange plant I found earlier. Still wish Relogic would move them back to pre-hard mode like how they originally were, but the die I got showed me something really neat.
Shadow Flame Hades die. Well, that's a fun one. Oh yeah, it's the purple flaming one. It is kind of neat, isn't it? Ooh, what would it look like on the wings? Ooh, I think I'm keeping this. Hey, hold on. This is actually kind of a cool thing for Vanity. Okay, for those who really like customizing their Vanity, here's something. Use the Shadow Flame with like a band of some sort, band of regen at the mana regeneration band for this one. And it makes it so your arm is on fire. That's really cool.
A very similar effect can be achieved with a gauntlet or a glove, but those ones cover your hand. So this is what you can do if you'd like your hand to still be normal, or even put a different color on it by putting a glove on and the band. Traveling Merchant showed up too, but once again, it's not selling the shingles I need to finish the build at spawn. But thankfully, he's finally got the paint sprayer.
Okay, at least you had one thing.
It took way longer than it should have, but we've got the hand of creation. And you know, my storage is bursting at the seams once again because, well, I've been collecting a lot more than usual.
How do I make more storage? Darn it.
This is probably the last expansion I'll be able to add to my storage room, and I was shocked to see just how much of the added space I used right off the bat because I've been saving paintings and banners and dyes and paints and statues and all the stuff that's usually just clutter. I even did some rough organizing of which kinds of blocks were in the different chests, and let's just say it took me about a half hour to sort through all of these and leave it at that. During it, the Traveling Merchant taunted me once again by not selling the shingles, but he did sell anti-portal blocks, which prevent you from creating portals on the block. I don't remember the last time I ever saw these. I have no idea how rare they are, but it's kind of silly to me that they even exist when the portal gun is post Moonlord. It's nice that they do, because you can maybe do some creative things with maps, but I feel like the portal gun is one of the coolest items in the game, but no one uses it due to the boss who drops it. That said, there is one thing these blocks might be good for.
Dude, these aren't portals though. It's a mysterious portal. So like, Would the anti-portal blocks stop the Old One's army portals from appearing? That'd be so meta if it actually did. Not that it would help in any way, shape, or form. It would just mean you couldn't spawn the Old One's army. But I'm very curious if it actually would work now. I think this means no portals can be created there. If it doesn't work, I'll be very, very upset. And... lies!
Well, at least fighting this thing got me the medals I need for the 3rd tier Old One's Army staff when that becomes available. Another thing I need are hollowed bars. I was considering not farming the remaining mech, but there's one thing I do want the hollowed bars for, and that's to turn them into blocks. These blocks make really cool columns, and I still need a hollowed biome build, so I'm using pearl wood and hollowed blocks to try and make something a little different. I also gotta say that pearl wood wall is really, really nice. I threw in some ancient cobalt for a splash of color and made some changes to the overall design. It's not particularly complicated or an interesting build, just a simple one that looks kind of nice. The next thing I wanted to work on are the wiring items sold by the Steampunker. I've tried working with them before, but can never figure out how to make them useful, practically speaking. I also bought the static hook, which locks you in place once it latches, and you can pull it in and out. Super useful for building, I imagine, and I also noticed that you can change the speed you move when grappled at an angle. Like if it's more vertical, then pressing up or down moves faster, while left or right would be slow. Now there's anything that those speed differences would be useful for, but it's kind of a neat thing to know. And before we try out the lamps, I did make a actuator door on either side of the castle using a sensor crafted with souls of sight. From there, it's hard to explain what exactly I did or what I learned, because I don't really know what happened or what to make of these things. No matter how much I think about it, I just can't come up with something to do with them. They seem like something a coder would understand a lot better than I would.
Man, I just might not have the mind for this. I am really struggling.
At best, I figured out a system where I could turn on a timer using a logic gate, and the timer would keep on going, but it wouldn't turn the logic gate back on, creating a sort of closed loop.
So this is a way that we could have something turn on with a timer without the initial thing turning on again. But I think this is something I was trying to create before. Wait, I think this is what I was trying to create once with an elevator.
Then I made a teleporter setup where it'd teleport me using a timer, but immediately turned off the timer. You know what that is? A switch. It's literally just an over-engineered switch. At best, I made it so if you do use a switch from the second teleporter, it'll automatically teleport you back, but you can easily escape, so it's not like you can make a trap or anything with it. Ultimately, I think everything I made was basically overly complicated versions of switches and pressure plates. I guess I just don't have the mind for it. So with the rest of the week, I gave my brain a rest by fishing for hemopiranhas, crates, and the blade tongue, and the crates gave me just enough adamantite bars to shimmer for ore that can then be used for the adamantite forge, which for reasons I don't understand, is used to craft crystal blocks, which I wanted to put as the background for the Queen Slime relic in the trophy room. And with the rest of our time, we farmed Queen Slime for a trophy, but still haven't gotten the blade staff somehow.
I, for one, have never had the chance to do anything with the stress ball, so I want to figure out what that actually does. I feel like I remember people not being, I guess, as thrilled about it as expected because it maybe wasn't as good as people thought it would be. So I'm curious as to what exactly its limitations are, what it's truly capable of, and then once we have the stress ball figured out, I have some ideas, or I guess I want to see if I can do something cool with it. I guess we can also grab life fruit while we're down here, can't we?
Is there anybody who ever farms life fruit in between mech bosses? I'm fairly sure nobody does that, but because I made so many straight horizontal tunnels in pre-hard mode, it would sure seem life fruit is finding plenty of places to grow, but that's not what we came down here for. We came to farm the stress ball, which is dropped by hoplites. Would have been much easier to do this in pre-hard mode without the Medusas in the way, but this does at least give me the chance to get a Medusa head.
I forgot you could shield dash while you're petrified. Hello. Sure, why not? I'll take that. We already got the weapons. Now we just need a stress ball. Medusa head. Mew, 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 mew. Got 50 hoplites. Not that we need a hoplite banner, but we'll put it down.
I was using battle potions and a water candle and just wasn't getting a whole lot of hoplites. Farming in the jungle might have been a mistake, as the jungle enemies might be eating up a lot of the available spawn slots, but I already have a little bit of a farm here, so I ain't moving. There also are a number of marble enemies spawning in the jungle temple, which is making me a little nervous.
All right, forget it. I need to make sure there's nothing in there.
When all was said and done, I spent an hour farming for the stress ball, and it's possible the thing dropped a lot earlier and I never noticed because I didn't think to check down here.
There's the stress ball. It was inside the temple this whole time. Oh my goodness, ouch. Get out. Oh, I accidentally dropped it. Oh, what am I doing? At least I didn't accidentally sell it like I'm kind of prone to do sometimes. Who knows how long the stress ball was there, man. Not functional when inventory is open. Interesting. Continuously use some items when not moving. So I can just leave this here. It looks like I can move my mouse. Okay, yeah, I can move my mouse and it's totally fine. It's not the greatest item to have as a mage. So we're gonna have to build out another class.
I also confirmed the stress ball works even with a mount equipped. My best guess is that it stops working depending on character speed. My plan with the stress ball is to make an AFK boss farm. I likely can only kill the boss once, but I want to summon the boss, maybe flip a switch, and then never touch the keyboard or mouse again. For this to work, we're going to be using teleporters for our movement. Setting it up with a 3-second timer should give me enough delay for the boss to pursue us from side to side and fast enough to keep us from being hit too much. That was the initial plan, but then I found out you could use the stress ball while on a minecart track. What I never tested, however, was whether it worked while moving on a minecart track. So what I did was make a minecart track with a big jump because it's fun, and switch to squire armor with a defensive summoner build for accessories with, of course, knockback immunity. Then we farmed the wall for the firecracker and fished for large fish as the finishing touch.
Oh, barnacle staff. Yes. Oh, heck yeah. I didn't even think about that. The barnacle staff.
With this setup and a number of potions, we summoned twins to see if it'll work. Spoiler alert, it won't.
Why is it not working? Stress ball. Wait, does it not work on bosses? Did they turn it off so you can't use it against bosses?
As a matter of fact, that is not what is going on here. The issue is that I am moving. So we're going back to the teleporter strategy. Luckily for me, the distance apart I place them is just the right distance.
We can't use the mouse. It's got to be completely AFK. We're already doing some pretty decent damage. The fire breath could be a real problem. Okay, we've almost gotten half of the twins. Oh boy. Yeah, that hurt. Okay, come on. Teleport away. Oh, this is terrifying. This is the most stressful boss fight I've ever had where I wasn't pressing a single key.
I ended up dying in that battle, but with a few minor changes geared towards increasing survivability, I was able to take down the twins without pressing a single button. The only issue is that the majority of the damage was done by the sentries. The stress ball's attack contributed very little to the overall effort, so I don't think its addition to the game created some new strategy here, or really had an effect at all. I probably would have been better off just using a different accessory. Maybe if I could summon bosses automatically with a stress ball, or maybe I need to accomplish this feat with every class to make it more interesting.
Wait, that actually looks kind of weird. Just having the two eyes out. Something makes me think some of you can think of some builds for this. Let's just say if you have the twins here, you know, the pet there, then you put another mannequin behind it holding a lance straight out. Yeah, something.
The Squire's armor set bonus buffs the ballista staff, so I had to buy that, and then I purchased the last second tier Old One's army set for the fun of it, which means I now need to collect more medals for the third tier staff after Plantera. So once we finished farming, I just had one question.
Is there a faster way to collect poo?
See, to make fertilizer, you need poo, and once you shimmer the fertilizer, you get infused fertilizer, which makes trees grow a whole lot taller than with the regular fertilizer. I'm using it on these palm trees because I need palm wood for a funny build idea I had a while ago to make a beach house in the underworld. It's going to require my Terraria brain to work different than normal though, because I want it to look modern, but also like a beach house. Two things I've historically never done very well. I'm also having this issue where even though there's a village and peace candle, I'm getting quite a few spawns.
What is with red devils and how much damage they do? It's actually crazy.
I've gotten this start thus far, but I have no idea how much of it I'm going to keep, and since I've run out of time, I'm going to have to revisit this build next week.
I had an idea for something that could be pretty cool here. Let me see if I do. Okay. I need one of these. And I need a mannequin. Where's my echo coating? Place the mannequin. I'm going to give him an umbrella. And then echo coat. Wrong paint. This one. Not gray. Oh, you can't. What? Hold the phone. That's not right. Hold on. Echo coded him, but he's still. What is this? Oh man, I thought I was onto something. I was going to make a floating umbrella, and it was going to be so cool. But no, I guess it used the paint and did nothing. A whole lot of nothing.
I can't believe you can't echo coat mannequins. Can we get that added in, Relogic? And no, the traveling merchant is not selling my shingles.
Why won't he sell the stupid shingles? I just want to finish my build.
So we continued working on the underworld beach house. I added this little balcony area with a picnic table, and after liking how an aquarium door looks, I decided to use more aquarium furniture. These are made with glass near water, I think it is. Make aquarium blocks that can then craft all various furniture items. Now, a beach house needs windows, so we added some small ones framed by Titan stone walls that I later painted sky blue. We'll add some white stucco to the roof to make it look more modern and add some more color. And in the upper room, I decided to use aquarium walls to accent the background and really like how it came out, but it made me start longing for some water to be added to this build. Of course, I built it down in the underworld knowing all water evaporates the moment it touches the underworld, but I think there may be a way around that problem. Before that, really quickly though, we created this drainage pipe system that if lava slimes happen to die here, their lava can drop through grates and out of this pipe. Of course, we're also still killing a bunch of red devils.
Yes, another hot dog. Wait a minute. Some of these guys need to be holding a hot dog. Yeah! Oh, let's get the swimsuit and stuff. Let's get the people going.
With mannequins and the newly added swimsuit vanities, we make the beach house seem a whole lot more lively. With some sand, shells, and shell piles, we create an actual beach for the beach house. But now it's time to get to work on adding water, and we're going to use our old reliable bubble block filled with water to accomplish this.
If you put water in the bubble block, it works.
So by simply placing a water-filled bubble block next to a hammered solid block, we can make waterfalls.
Aw, it's raining on his hot dog. There we go. Oh, guys, we can make a watering hole for sure.
We're going to place some lava-proof obsidian platforms down and echo coat them with some echo-coated fog machines on top. Then using these water-filled bubbles and hammered blocks, we can create cascading waterfalls.
There we go. Oh, dude, this is sick. I'm loving it so much. Now what I need is a way to put a mannequin to make it look like he's diving down towards the lava. I need one that he's just flying in the... Wait! Oh! I know exactly how I'm going to do this. Okay. We'll add this one here. The goggles and the blue trunks. Then you got to make him look, yep, like he's jumping. Then you echo coat. There we go. And now we have a guy jumping into the lava. Yeah, I mean, the water.
I wasn't sure if it would work, but I purchased the Oasis Fountain from the Witch Doctor, and sure enough, it changed the color of the waterfalls, which I think works a lot better since it's nice and vibrant. To make the waterfall feel more full, we're adding rain cloud blocks, and to make it so the rain falls across the whole thing, I needed to actuate a few of the blocks so the water would fall through, and there aren't random gaps in the rain.
Don't forget to subscribe, guys. Subscribe. Oh, I just started typing subscribe.
You might have noticed the rain doesn't fall that far, so what I did was add another layer of rain blocks, actuated them, and painted them with echo coating.
It totally looks natural. No, just don't look too hard.
By moving the blocks up higher where the rain is thicker, it masked the addition of the new blocks a lot better and filled the whole big waterfall nicely.
And now we add waterfall blocks as the finishing touch.
Static Cook coming in clutch, we fill in the rest of the space with waterfall wall. The issue, of course, is that walls are dark, so now we need to place a bunch of echo-coated torches to light the area.
What? No! Relogic, fix this immediately! Why can't we place cake on a picnic table? You evil developers! No! Put it on the floor then! Because that makes more sense!
At best, we can place 2 platforms above the table to kind of make it look like it's on the table.
You know what, maybe we'll do that just out of spite. Let's do that out of spite. It goes right there. And I can't hammer it down, because once it's hammered down, it won't go there. So now we have floating cake. Do you like this relogic?
I wish I remember what happened to my fly meal, which I think I had at some points, because the whole world will be covered in lava with how much murder has been taking place. Anyways, there's one more touch I want to add to the beach house, and that's some rocks on the bottom of the waterfall. It's not meant to make sense as much as it's meant to fill the space that looks pretty empty, and I'm using stone and smooth sandstone with black paint. By adding some spike walls, we can create these sort of jagged edges to it as well that I think look really good.
Now this guy's jumping right into a rock.
So we added these spikes, which I think is really cool, and that dude jumping down here is definitely going to die.
Oh my goodness, dude, he knows. 1 in 6 common items. Maybe that means you'll have 6. I don't know. He should have had these. I've seen him like 10 times. 10!
The final touch will be to add some brown painted living leaf blocks and walls. Now we're going to change gears completely and try to figure out the new automation they added in 1.4.5. All I know is that I saw conveyor belts and treasure chests in the spoiler, so I tried wiring the two together and nothing happened. When I added a pressure plate, that's when the chest would open and pick up the items. As far as I can tell, it works with anything you throw at it. It doesn't already need to contain the item. I was wondering if there was a way to make it so specific chests only grab certain items, but I'm highly skeptical there is a way without something like Minecraft's observers. What I'm going to attempt to do with this is see if I can set up a massive, passive mob farm using statues. I'm not sure they will drop anything when only traps are hitting them. Some initial farming seemed promising, but I didn't realize I was standing close enough that one of my bats was attacking the enemies, and that's where the drops were coming from. So I tried standing a little bit farther away to see if they would drop anything at all, which wasn't looking promising for a little while until I realized,
oh, it has been dropping things, but I've had the chest open this whole time. That's the problem. I'm so smart.
I have no idea if these drops came from when my bat was or wasn't attacking the enemies, but I know we can at least get something. I'm just not exactly sure what. And if it's going to work at all, then I might as well decorate it. And I used platinum brick walls for the column looking things, but then added some places where they went over the gemspark walls and other places where they didn't to create a sort of 3D effect. I'm not sure this farming or knowledge is helpful at all without using the stress ball for an AFK farm, which I'm not going to do on this world. The whole point is to actually be here, so maybe it'll be helpful for you. Something more helpful to farm for now is the solar eclipse. There isn't a lot that they drop at this phase, but there are some paintings and accessories and a pet to collect.
Oh, dude, that's so creepy. He can crawl in my trees. Oh no, that is actually terrifying.
For the rest of my week, I wanted to start working on a project that I should have started a long time ago. And I'm going to build it in the big flat area I tried turning into a mimic farm. It's a good way to use this land I've already partially destroyed. The plan is that this build will be absolutely massive, and I'll likely add armors and weapons I've collected, place all the statues, hang up paintings and banners I've collected, and perhaps all the critters in their containers as well. It'll house all those things, assuming I can collect all the ones that I want. But that'll wrap up the week. Be sure to check out the other months I've spent on this world where I have been experimenting with all kinds of things you can do in the game.